Welcome back from Dell Technologies World 2018. My next guest is a sponsor, a partner, Bob Venero from Future Tech Enterprise. Bob, welcome.
Thank you, and actually one of the first partners.
Is that right?
Yes, yes. When you guys first decided to go to the channel, we were one of the first calls to Michael Dell, and he actually flew out to New York, met with us, and tens of millions of dollars later, we've had a great relationship.
Fantastic. Well, we're proud to have you as partners. Thank you so much for your help and partnership in helping Dell and Dell's customers and your customers become successful. Talk to me about how the show's going. You guys have a booth out there.
Yeah.
How's the activity been?
Activity's been great. You know, this is our first time doing a booth at Dell EMC World,
okay.
And it's really taken off for us. We've got a lot of gadgets and gadgets there to give around, but we've had a lot of great dialogue with some of the potential customers and partners here. So it's been really, really good for us.
Good. I mean, it's all about making connections, right?
Absolutely.
And when you make those connections, that's when your customers and your potential customers find out about the extent of what Future Tech Enterprise can bring to them. So tell me a little bit about your projects. A lot of on-prem, cloud, complicated projects, I hear.
Yeah, we do a lot of very large implementations of hybrid and internal cloud. We're really an on-prem guy versus a off-prem. We feel there's a lot of risk with the off-prem out there, and I know that's a message that Dell is delivering as well. So we really focus on that on-prem solution, whether it's a hybrid approach, internal, spread across the country, or even an international. And we do a lot of that as well.
Right. I mean, we've heard this whole point of view around a multi-cloud approach, right? But the first thing that I keep hearing customers talk about is they might think they have an on-premise cloud, or on-premises cloud, but really there's certain characteristics that are indicative of a cloud-based environment. And you help them get to those capabilities around scalability and chargeback and having broad network access, for instance.
Yeah, look, the word cloud is very different to many different
people. It's thrown out a lot, right? A lot of cloud washing.
And yeah, that's a good point, right? So what we try to do is educate our customers on really what that looks like from a cloud perspective and what risks they're willing to take, right, as an organization, right, and where they can separate themselves from that risk by having a hybrid solution, right, on-prem versus the off-prem, so that there's a lot less risk associated with connectivity, productivity, things to that effect.
And are there specific verticals that you guys specialize in and help out with?
So we're big in the federal space. We're very large internationally, but we really focus on, we call them number of seats, right? So a seat is tied to a machine, right? So if it's less than 10,000 seats, we generally don't work with those type of companies. So it's generally the large, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, that we work with.
Great, and they're the ones who get the most efficiencies out of going to cloud as well.
Well, yeah, depending on the definition of cloud, right? And defining low-hanging fruit, non-risk, that you can put in the real, public cloud. But when you talk about, cloud into your internal environment for those mission-critical applications, then you really want to have that on-prem, solution that Dell does from, cradle to grave.
Yeah, no, exactly. So again, the cloud is this concept, this model of delivering IT. Any cloud is built on infrastructure at the end of the day. And I hear converged is really taking off. Is that a conversation that you have with your customers as well?
We have a lot of conversation about converged and hyper-converged, right? Hyper-converged is really, hyper-growing right now, not to use that word again, right? But it really is, it's taking off. And customers are realizing the value of having that in their environment, right? Versus, disparate systems, across areas and environments. It's easier to control, it's easier to manage, it's a lot more flexible, right? And you have a lot of growth potential with it that can be managed and supported.
Right, I mean, Jeff yesterday talked about making things more software defined.
Yes.
Having the underlying infrastructure that was designed for a world that is going to be increasingly software defined. So converged and hyper-converged, obviously taking off. What other technologies are you seeing? I see a lot of VR on the show floor. Is that something you're
Yeah, we have a whole practice around VR.
Okay.
And taking the practicality of VR into the workforce, right, into work environment, versus the gaming aspect of VR, right, which everybody's playing now. And hey, that's a cool factor, but there's a lot of cutting edge technologies that allow you to maximize a VR environment for work, training, education, and or manufacturing. And we really see that as a good future landscape for companies to start to invest in the infrastructure to support that.
Great. Where do you think people are on this maturity curve of accepting VR? Is it still mostly hype in their heads, or do you think they're taking practical steps to deploy it?
As I look at following the running dollars, right, because that's where you see where someone's mindset is, right? And if they're willing to invest dollars in VR, then it's not a cloud in the sky type of scenario, right? Not to use cloud again.
Right.
But we've seen is a lot of investment around that in pilot phases, in testing phases, but then follow on, tied to actual solutions that they want to employ in their environments. So VR is here to stay, here to grow, and I really think it's going to be a game changer for the next 5 to 7 years.
Excellent. Well, it's indicative. I've never seen more experiential booths at a trade show. This is the Solutions Expo is incredible in its ability to kind of suck you in, not to just talk about products, but to talk about the outcomes from those products and how you experience them. Bob, best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Your success is our success.
Absolutely.
Right? Enjoy the rest of the show.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will be right back after a quick break.